have recently got a bit of a penchant for riding around the bowl backwards. My local indoor wooden bowl is nicely set up so I can practice my front side carving and pumping, and do a figure of 8 line, which then allows me to practice my backside carving and pumping. Can also work up a bit of a head of steam and try for a sneaky double truck carve grind, both backside and front side. But my local outdoor concrete bowl has super tight pockets, and these have always eluded me, so I decided to head down to Duck Lane Skate Park and try my hand at carving around those tighter pockets. To kick things off, I thought I'd have a quick warm-up carving the pockets forwards. This would give me a chance to remember the key points of the pocket carving technique and allow me to think about that and apply it to my fakie carving attempts. I've always found carving these pockets backside a little bit easier than carving them front side. As I go through the pocket, I try and pump up onto the hip and then push through the turn, like squeezing a bar of soap. I find that if I bring my knees up as I pump up onto the hip, that gives me somewhere to push out of. And I also try and keep my shoulder and my head slightly ahead of the turn. And again, this allows me to swish my legs around the turn. And then exiting the pocket, there is another little hip to negotiate. So again, I find I need to just keep my knees soft, maybe just pump over there, and that gives me enough speed to get into the next pocket. I've always found the front side version slightly trickier, but the concept is essentially the same. So come in with good speed, speed is your friend, nice soft knees, pump up over the hip. I really struggle with keeping my knees bent on the front side. For some reason, I want to go round that pocket like crazy leg crane, keep me away from all of that. But I find that if I can bend my knees, again, it gives me somewhere to squeeze from for that soap bar pump. And also, if I look with my head and shoulder, I can swish my legs round. Again, on the exit, try and keep the knees nice and soft to exit over that second hip without coming a cropper. So with those key points refreshed in my mind, I decided to attack the fakie front side pocket carve. To start with, I was absolutely nowhere near close. I was pretty surprised how hard this felt. The first challenge was trying to pump up over that little mini hip lip, and I found that when I tried to go up, I just got skittled straight off the front. The remedy for this was, of course, keeping the knees nice and soft, trying to bend those knees down, accept that hip, and then push the knees out to pump around the pocket. The second issue I had was getting out of the pocket back over the second hip. Again, the key here was to try and resist the urge to straighten my legs out and lock those knees, try and keep the knees nice and loose so that I could negotiate that second hip and the board would ride over smoothly so I could make me exit. The next challenge was to try and maintain and generate speed when carving through the pocket. To start with, I was just sort of dribbling out the end. So I decided to incentivise this by setting the goal of being able to exit the pocket with enough speed to execute a tail stall on the other side of the bowl. I focused on getting a good pump out of my rock to fakie. That gave me more speed on entry. Then it was a case of hopping up onto that hip, keeping the knees soft, swishing the legs through, looking with the head, keeping the shoulder into the centre of the turn, doing that soap bar squeeze, and then remembering to keep my knees nice and soft so I could go over that hip and then pump down on the exit. At this point, I concocted a bit of a rewind line. That was to come into the pocket forwards for a frontside carve, do a rock to fakie, and then attempt the pocket backwards in a fakie frontside carve, come back out, tail stall, and then repeat the process. I found this rapid fire drill really helpful. I could go into the turn forwards, remind myself of all the key points, get those in the muscle memory, do a rock to fakie, and then flip my head round the other way and attempt to do it all backwards. With a little bit of practice, I felt that I started to get quite good speed and quite good consistency through that pocket fakie. However, skateboarding is a humbling pursuit. Even when I felt I had the feel here, there was a good chance I was going to come a cropper. Next up was the backside version. Now, as I alluded to earlier, I feel a little bit more confident with my backside fakie carves, so I was feeling quietly confident when attempting these. I also felt I'd done a lot of the hard work trying to work out how to do the frontside version, so again it was just a case of putting those key points into practice. As I came in, get good speed out of the rock to fakie, pump up onto that hip with bent knees, swish round the turn, try and keep my knees bent for that soap bar squeeze, and then keep my knees soft to get over that second hip for a speedy exit. At this point I realised I hadn't been too mindful of my foot pressures when doing the fakie carve. For the backside version, it seemed to work best if I weighted my new back foot. So that is my regular front foot. This is where it gets confusing. As I went in, try and switch the foot pressures, usually I put quite a lot of pressure on my back foot, which is on the tail for my standard carves, generate quite a lot of speed just through pushing on the tail. But I found for the fakie carve, I needed to switch that round. So put a lot more weight on the front foot, which of course for a fakie carve is your back foot. I also went back and tried this switching of the foot pressures technique with my fakie frontside carves, and bingo, definitely helped a lot more. So at this point I came up with the ultimate rewind line, and that was to drop in, do the first pocket, backside, second pocket, sneaky little backside grind, up, rock to fakie, rewind, fakie backside carve, and then another fakie backside carve, try and generate enough speed to get into the tail stool, and then through the first pocket, front side, sneaky carve, and then another pocket, front side, come out, do your rock to fakie, and then go back in, do the first pocket, front side fakie, second pocket, front side fakie, and then come up and finish the line. Woo-hoo. To finish up, it's worth addressing a bit of health and safety. I thought this one was going to be a nice cruisy thing to try on a burning hot summer's day. I didn't put any pads on because I thought I might burst into flames, so I just went in my beach kit, and oh my gosh, coming off was pretty uncomfortable. I was also surprised by how much I did come off. Service came quick, abruptly, and it was pretty emotional. Well, that's it for this video. I found carving through those tight pockets fakie surprisingly challenging, but I think it was worth the effort because it opens up loads more lines and also a bit more flexibility when going round the bowl. If you guys get a chance to give it a whirl, I'd love to hear how you get on. Leave it in the comments below. You can also follow me on Instagram at John Bishop Skate. As ever, my name's been John Bishop, and I'm a middle-aged guy learning how to skate.